Act of Valor is a gripping military action thriller directed by Mike McCoy and Scott Waugh, featuring real active duty U.S. Navy SEALs. Unlike typical war movies, Act of Valor delivers an intense and realistic look into the missions and personal lives of elite Special Forces operators. The film dives deep into the dangerous operations these warriors face, while highlighting the sacrifices, hardships, and unwavering loyalty they carry for their country. Today, we're stepping into a brutal underground world where courage and determination are pushed to the absolute limit. The film opens somewhere in the Philippines, where the U.S. ambassador is heading to his child's school like any normal day. At the exact same time, a yellow ice cream truck is slowly making its way toward the school. But the shocking part is that the man driving the truck is none other than Abu Sayyaf, a ruthless terrorist mastermind responsible for countless deadly attacks. Using the disguise of an ice cream vendor, he easily infiltrates the school grounds. Saban manipulates extremist jihadist fighters to carry out his twisted plans, while also luring the children at the school, especially the ambassador's son. He knows that once the child asks for ice cream, the ambassador will walk over without hesitation. And the moment he does, Saban's plan will succeed. Seconds later, a horrifying explosion tears through the area, killing the ambassador and dozens of innocent children instantly. After Abu Saban's bombing attack, the ambassador, his son, and dozens of other children were killed on the spot. As for Saban himself, he cleverly escaped before detonating the bomb and retreated to a hidden training camp deep in the jungle, casually sitting back and enjoying the chaos he had created. Meanwhile, in a small village in Costa Rica, a female CIA operative disguised as a school nurse is secretly tracking a powerful drug cartel leader. The cartel boss uses his dirty drug money to build schools, fund healthcare programs, and support local communities, causing many civilians to worship him like a god. However, after one small mistake, the undercover agent accidentally exposes her identity. Vaughn Tadgett and Modulet secretly meet to exchange information. The two operatives are discussing intelligence related to the notorious drug lord Cheeto. Their plan is to send the information back to headquarters so authorities can launch an operation against him. But before they can make their move, the cartel's gang members catch on to them. Vaughn Tadgett is killed on the spot, while Modulet is captured alive before she even has a chance to fight back. Cheeto already knows that both of them are undercover agents, so he strikes first. Instead of killing Modulet immediately, the cartel decides to torture her in order to find out how much intelligence the Americans already know. Even after being brutally tortured, Modulet refuses to break. She stares directly at the cartel boss and says, "I'm built different, sweetheart. I can take a lot more than this." Once U.S. Command receives the intel, they immediately assemble an elite Navy SEAL team to launch a rescue mission for Modulet. The squad consists of 7 operators, all of whom were still on leave with their wives and families. But the moment duty calls, they are willing to leave everything behind and head straight into battle. The one struggling the most is team leader Jockey, because his wife has only recently become pregnant. But despite that, the mission comes first. He must leave home to serve his country and protect innocent lives, even if it means facing dangers he may never come back from. A few days later, at a military base in Colorado, the commanding officer gathers the SEAL team for a briefing. He tells them, "We've got a rescue operation. You'll have a maximum of 30 minutes to complete the mission. Any longer than that, and things could get messy." According to intelligence reports, the kidnappers are connected to Abu Saban's terrorist network, the same group responsible for assassinating the U.S. ambassador. That means they're heavily armed and likely have a large number of fighters on site. So hit fast and get out fast. After finalizing the plan, the elite SEAL team, led by Rocky Denver, begins the operation. To maintain complete secrecy, they will infiltrate the target area by parachuting from an aircraft under the cover of darkness. A short time later, after landing safely, the team begins moving toward the location where Modulet is being held captive. However, they do not attack immediately. Instead, the entire squad holds position and waits until just before sunrise. Launching the assault too early would make the rescue operation far more dangerous. They also need to wait for the second naval extraction team to move into position before going all in. The SEALs must first secure a safe escape route. Meanwhile, the naval support team has completed all preparations and is now moving toward the extraction point. Each boat is equipped with 4 Gatling guns capable of unleashing nearly 4,000 rounds per minute. The weapon is so terrifying that soldiers have nicknamed the Minute Grinder. Back with the SEAL team, they are now extremely close to the compound where Modulet is being held. The second they receive the order, the assault will begin. The problem is that the naval support team is still 15 minutes away. If they attack, now they'll be completely on their own. Even knowing that, Commander Jockey decides to move forward with the mission anyway. If they wait any longer, there's a very high chance Modulet will be executed. Moments later, Jockey splits the team into two groups. One group is led by him alongside the sniper unit. The second group, made up of the remaining operators, is placed under the command of Petty Officer Jay Hansen. The operation begins. To infiltrate deep into the compound, the SEAL team first has to silently eliminate the guards stationed outside. The sniper's job is to take them out quickly and cleanly, while the operators moving in close catch the bodies before they hit the ground and make any noise. Next are the guards positioned in the watchtowers. After clearing the outer perimeter without alerting anyone, JS team is finally able to make a safe landing on shore completely undetected. From there, they begin moving toward the high-priority targets. The SEALs quickly approach the house. But once they enter the building, they realize something is wrong. Nobody is inside. Assuming the terrorists are hiding somewhere nearby, the team continues sweeping the structure. And just as expected, the firefight erupts near the back of the house when the SEALs suddenly come face-to-face with the terrorists. Unfortunately, during the intense gunfight, Mikey is shot directly in the eye, causing him to collapse unconscious on the spot. Luckily, he survives. Outside the compound, however, the situation is already under control. The sniper team has completed its mission flawlessly. Back inside, Jay Hansen's squad eliminates the final terrorist and fully secures the building. They finally locate Modulet, who is in terrible condition after being brutally tortured for days. Jay quickly verifies her identity one last time before preparing to extract her. But there's no time to waste. Two vehicles filled with heavily armed terrorists have just been spotted approaching the house from the north. If the SEALs do not move immediately, JS team will be trapped in a direct confrontation. The moment he receives the warning, Jay orders a full retreat and immediately escorts Modulet out of the compound. But by then, it's already too late. The second they exit the house, JS squad comes face to face with the two incoming enemy vehicles. With no other option, the team is forced to fight while continuing their escape. However, the enemy fire is so intense that JS team is unable to reach the first extraction point. After receiving the update, Commander Jockey orders Jay and the rest of the team to push toward the second extraction zone instead. Meanwhile, Jockey and another operator take a shortcut route to provide cover fire and attempt to destroy the enemy vehicles chasing the team. The plan partially works. One of the vehicles is destroyed, but the second one is still relentlessly pursuing them. This chase might catch up to us too. Realizing how dangerous the situation has become, Jockey and his teammate go all out, trying to destroy the last pursuing vehicle. Just when they think they're finally safe after taking it down, a much bigger threat suddenly appears behind them, an entire convoy of heavily armed terrorist fighters speeding toward their position. If those enemy forces manage to close the distance, the SEAL team will be completely overwhelmed. Understanding the urgency of the situation, Jockey immediately radios the naval support team. We've got a massive enemy force incoming. Get ready to welcome them. We're driving the vehicles straight into the water. Hopefully, you guys get here in time. The moment he finishes speaking, Jockey orders his men to drive the vehicle straight into the river, hoping the reinforcement team arrives before it's too late. And thankfully, the backup forces arrive just in time. The second naval support team spots the terrorists. The commander orders every gunner to unleash maximum firepower onto the shoreline. With overwhelming fire superiority, the heavily armed boats completely annihilate the terrorist forces within moments. In the blink of an eye, the entire battlefield is turned upside down. The terrorists are horrified by what they're seeing. So this is what people mean when they say, when the Gatling gun starts spinning, everyone becomes equal. The rescue mission is finally a success. But despite completing the operation, Jockey feels no sense of victory. His team has suffered serious losses. Mikey has been critically wounded, permanently blinded in one eye, and can no longer continue fighting as a SEAL operator. It's a devastating price to pay. Meanwhile, somewhere in Kiev, Abu Sabin is being introduced to a brand new suicide bombing vest. The vest contains over 500 compact explosive charges. On the outside, it looks completely ordinary, but its destructive power is absolutely terrifying. Even worse, the device is designed to pass through security checkpoints undetected. The arms dealer confidently tells Sabin, the moment you detonate this thing in a crowded area, Nobody is walking out alive. Hearing that sales pitch, Sabin looks more interested than ever. He immediately begins imagining the horrifying attack he plans to carry out next. It's also here that Sabin reunites with his childhood friend Cheeto, the man responsible for developing the new suicide vest technology. After exchanging a few casual greetings, the two quickly get down to business. Cheeto bluntly tells Sabin, "The CIA is watching me. I'm out." But Sabin instantly fires back in anger. "Are you kidding me? Me and dozens of others already risked our lives for this operation. And now you want to run away? You're nothing but a coward. If you don't want to do this, then get lost. I'll finish the mission myself." After saying that, Sabin walks away. A few days later, aboard the amphibious assault ship USS Zekit, new intelligence from the rescue mission reaches Jockey S team. According to updated reports, Sabin and Cheeto are now working together. What makes the situation even more dangerous is the fact that Sabin is trying to smuggle explosives into the United States, while Cheeto controls the smuggling routes capable of getting those weapons across the border. Because of that, the SEAL team is assigned a brand new mission. They must split up and hunt down both Sabin and Cheeto before it's too late. Understanding how serious the mission has become, Jockey hands Jay a letter written for his wife before leaving for the operation. Looking directly at him, Jockey says, "If something happens to me, make sure my wife gets this." Jay immediately replies, "I hear you, but you should be the one giving this to her yourself." Even so, Jay quietly keeps the letter with him afterward. A few hours later, the manhunt officially begins. The first strike team, led by AC and Ray, is deployed to Somalia. Their mission is to monitor a suspicious weapons transfer believed to be connected to terrorist group Abu Sayyaf. The two operators hitch a ride aboard a submarine near the Somali coastline before secretly moving toward the suspected rendezvous point. Even then, they remain extremely cautious, hiding along a rocky cliffside. If the terrorists spot them, they're dead on the spot. Intelligence strongly believes this location is being used to receive jihadist fighters, and that Abu Sabin himself will eventually appear there. And just as expected, about 15 minutes later, Sabin finally arrives accompanied by 16 extremist fighters. Never underestimate fanatics like these. They may not be highly trained soldiers, but what makes them terrifying is the fact that they have absolutely no fear of dying. And those are exactly the kinds of people Abu Sabin wants for his mission. The group quickly loads up the explosives before boarding two aircraft and flying west toward Mexico. Meanwhile, the second strike team, commanded by Colonel Miller, finally confirms the location of Cheeto, the powerful smuggling kingpin. He is hiding aboard a luxury yacht somewhere in the South Pacific. Without wasting a second, Miller orders the assault team to move in. Multiple boats and helicopters immediately storm the yacht. Cheeto's bodyguards are completely overwhelmed by the firepower of the Special Operations Forces. Within moments, the cartel boss is captured and tied up like a human burrito. A few minutes later, inside the center cabin of the yacht, Miller begins interrogating Cheeto. Miller asks him directly, "Where is Sabin? What is he planning? Tell me everything." But Cheeto calmly responds, "ES, just a friend of mine. How would I know what ES doing?" Furious, Miller shows Cheeto a video recording of his family and coldly says, "Ready to talk now?" Out of options, Cheeto finally breaks and confesses. While we're sitting here talking, Sabin and 16 suicide bombers are already crossing the border and heading toward heavily populated areas inside the United States. Realizing how critical the situation has become, Miller orders Jockey and the remaining SEAL operators to launch an assault on Sea Island in Mexico. Their mission is simple: stop Sabin and his suicide bombers at all costs before they can cross the border and enter the United States. At first, Jockey S team plans to handle the operation quietly, eliminating enemies one by one without making a sound. But once the mission begins, everything quickly goes wrong. A pregnant woman breastfeeding her baby suddenly notices the soldiers and starts screaming in panic. That single moment completely blows the Team S cover. One of the terrorists accidentally wakes up, forcing the SEALs to open fire and eliminate him immediately. But the second the gunshots echo through the compound, the terrorists realize they are under attack. Armed fighters immediately rush outside and begin firing back aggressively. Even so, the SEAL team completely overwhelms them. With advanced night vision gear, superior training, and devastating firepower, the terrorists never really stand a chance. No matter they are quickly taken down. Within minutes, the battlefield is fully evacuated. Even the terrorists attempting to escape are unable to get away because the SEALs are in position to lock down The team begins clearing the buildings one by one. At first, it seems like a routine sweep until Jockey enters the final house. Out of nowhere, he takes a direct rocket to the chest and gets blasted backward onto the ground. Luckily for him, the rocket never detonates. It only embeds itself into his body armor, allowing him to survive what should have been a guaranteed death sentence. After recovering from the shock, Jockey quickly realizes the terrorists are carrying a brand new type of explosive device advanced suicide bombing vests unlike anything he has seen before. He immediately reports the discovery back to command while also confirming that the mission objective has been completed. Most of the terrorists have been eliminated, and he requests immediate naval extraction. But command denies the request. According to updated intelligence, the mission is far from over. The SEALs only managed to eliminate half of the terrorist group. The remaining bombers, along with Abu, Sabin himself, escaped before the assault began. Now, they are heading toward the Mexico border. Throughout the journey, Sabin continues brainwashing the jihadist fighters traveling with him. Deep down, many of them clearly look nervous and uncertain. After all, this is still a suicide mission that will kill countless innocent civilians. But every time fear starts showing on their faces, Sabin reassures them that what they are doing is righteous, that if they complete the mission, paradise awaits them. And if these terrorists manage to enter the underground tunnel network, everything is basically over. Command also informs Jockey that once they reach the border region, a Mexican Special Operations unit will assist them. Their job will be to guide the SEAL team directly to the tunnel system. After receiving orders, Jockey turns to Jay and says, "Get the boys ready. We're going all out against these bastards." A few hours later, near the border of Mexico, Jockey has SEAL team land safely and immediately begins moving toward the target location. Supporting them on the ground is Colonel Johnson. As soon as he meets Jockey, Johnson says, "Welcome to the most unstable place in Mexico. I'll get you where you need to go. But be ready, this city is crawling with cartel gangs." After that, Johnson transports the SEAL team into the city using 2 cargo trucks. To stay hidden, Jockey S operators conceal themselves underneath the truck beds. The team must avoid drawing attention at all costs, because if their cover is blown, reaching the target will become nearly impossible. Meanwhile, Abu Sabin and his jihadist fighters are being shown how to navigate the underground tunnel system. Their guide tells them, "Doesn't matter which tunnel you take. Just keep moving forward. I guarantee nobody will ever track you down." Back with the SEAL team, it quickly becomes clear that the forces can no longer remain hidden. The enemy has already noticed something suspicious. Realizing this, Jockey turns to his men and says, "Hear the noise. They know we're here now. Get ready for a fight." At the same time, Johnson decides to slam into the target. Knowing there is no more time to wait, nearby, Jay Hansen successfully reaches the structure, but his team immediately comes under attack from cartel gunmen outside the building. To hold the enemy back, Jay leaves 2 operators behind to provide defensive cover. Meanwhile, Jockey leaves the rest of the SEALs directly into the building to start with Jay's squad and wipe out the terrorists inside. The moment Sabin realizes the compound is under attack, he orders everyone to move toward the tunnels immediately. At the same time, he leaves behind a woman strapped with explosives to stop the advancing SEAL team. Before he moves, Sabin tells her, "You'll see your husband again in paradise." Believing every word he says, the woman stays behind willingly. By now, the chaos is getting so massive that cartel gunmen from all over the area begin flooding the tunnel, armed with heavy weapons. They fully intend to wipe out the SEAL team. But honestly, these guys never stood a chance. Even though the cartel heavily outnumbers them, the elite SEAL operators are on a completely different level. They become an absolute nightmare. While fighting nonstop, the SEAL team is deeper and deeper into the tunnel system, determined to hunt down Abu Sabin and eliminate every last member of his terrorist network. The moment the SEAL team pushes forward, the woman immediately detonates the explosives strapped to her body. The result is a massive explosion powerful enough to blow apart the entire building. Luckily, Jay and Jockey react just in time and barely escape death once again. The team continues moving deeper into the tunnels. But this time, luck finally runs out for Jockey. As they approach the tunnel entrance, Jockey suddenly spots a grenade flying directly toward the team. Without even hesitating, he throws himself onto the grenade to protect the others. The explosion kills Jockey instantly. Jay watches in complete shock repeatedly screaming Jockey's name. But realizing the mission is still ISNTO, he forces himself through the pain. Alongside a member of the Mexican Special Operations Unit, Jay continues chasing the remaining terrorists into the tunnels. However, the second they catch sight of the they come heavy. Jay is eventually shot down himself while attempting to charge directly towards Sabin's position. Completely exhausted and out of strength, Jay slowly collapses to the ground. Realizing Jay has been taken out, one of the terrorists quickly moves in, preparing to finish him off before escaping. But suddenly, someone of Jay's teammates appears behind just in time. Well, congratulations, buddy. Now you've got a problem with me. In the end, the mission is finally completed. Abu Sabin and the remaining terrorists are eliminated. But the elite SEAL team pays a devastating price for victory. Jockey, the team's leader, has sacrificed his life. A few weeks later, Jockey's body is returned to his hometown for a military funeral. Every member of the team is there, including Jay, who barely survived the brutal final battle against Sabin. After the funeral, Jay personally delivers the letter Jockey gave him earlier to Jockey's wife. And that's where the movie comes to an end. Sadly, people as cold-blooded and twisted as Abu Sabin still exist in the real world. Maybe he grew up in a terrible environment filled with pain and hatred, causing his anger to spiral completely out of control. That's why there's a famous quote that says, "Hurt people hurt people." So never underestimate the importance of raising a child the right way. Without proper guidance, love, and education, as a ticking time bomb, just like Sabin. Parents spend more time caring for and guiding their children. Don't think that smart or giving them money for snacks means your responsibility as a parent is complete. Raising and educating a child has always been one of the hardest jobs in the world. The way you care for your children is a lot like planting a tree. In spring, it blooms with flowers. In autumn, it rewards you with fruit. If you enjoyed this movie recap, make sure to leave a like and share your thoughts about the film in the comments below. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest movie recap videos. See you again next time, my friends.